Hello folks, it's Yuri Goman again, and today I have something new for you. You probably know that not too many business analysis books come out every year. It's good when we have one, it's perfect when we have two, but most of the time we don't have like that tapestry of books coming out every year. But this year we are in for a treat because recently a new book was released, and it's also related to the hype topic today, the AI. It's Futureproof by Angela Wick and Tim Coventry. This book is written by two experts in the field, Angela Wick and Tim Coventry. You probably heard those names, and you should have heard about them before because they are two renowned experts from US and Australia. But if you don't know them somehow, I will introduce them to you, of course. And I will start with Angela Wick. Angela is a seasoned business analysis expert. She has around 30 years of experience. She started somewhere mid-90s. Basically, with this many years of experience, you can imagine how much knowledge and experience she has and can share with you. And from more recent things you can know about Angela is that she was one of the people who actually brought us BABOK version 3. She was among people who created that, and she was reviewing the Agile extension for BABOK as well. Also, you may have heard about Angela from her consultancy, which is called BA Cube. This is not only a consultancy, this is also an opportunity for business analysts to grow because she has this group where she mentors people, and it's absolutely free, by the way. I will leave the link in the description. I also joined that group, and I think everybody should because there is a lot of things to learn from Angela. And also, you may have heard about Angela from LinkedIn because she taught more than 2 million people with her courses on LinkedIn, and I've tried some of them and they are amazing. As for the team, he is also an experienced business analyst with more than 30 years of knowledge on board. For the last 20 years, he serves as the CEO for BAPL. This is a huge consultancy that serves all the businesses probably around Southern Hemisphere. And what also cool about Tim is that he was an author for IABA competency model. If you ever opened BABOK and you tried reading it, you probably heard also about the competency model. This is a framework from IABA that allows every business analyst grow from the trainee to senior and above. So getting back to the book itself. When I received this book a couple of months ago, I read it overnight because the next day I was going to BA Beyond conference in Denmark, and I knew that I would meet Angela Wick herself at the conference because she was going to speak there as well. Right away, I felt that this is a mind-bending and revolutionizing book because it's not just, a typical book where you have a call to action or some techniques and tools that you use right away and incorporate into your job. This is something to chew about and think about really deeply. So as analysts, we get used to the thought that the result of our work, the actual requirements models are probably what the value we provide. And a lot of business analysts across the world, when I ask them, what's your value, what you produce as a result of your job, they say requirement, right? But as you probably know, that's not the value we need to produce. Requirements are just the tool, just the asset that we use to provide business value. And as soon as we go from writing requirements manually to writing requirements by AI, which is probably going to be soon, we have a problem. A lot of people keep saying that AI will steal your job and you will stop being a business analyst and AI will do business analysis for you. To prevent that from happening, we need to change our mindset and start thinking about not writing requirements, but how those requirements actually provide value to businesses. And this is what this book is actually about. It helps us to understand how should we get from point A to point B, how should we perform this mind change and become more ready for the case when AI will start writing requirements for us. Having such thoughts, I approached Angela and we had actually great discussion, which I recorded for you so that you hear from the expert herself about the book, about the ideas, and what kind of change should you perform as a business analyst to become more ready for AI. Now you can sit and enjoy the interview. Hi, Angela. It's my pleasure to meet you. finally, personally, I've been following your content for many years, actually, maybe 12 years now.
What?
I'm not sure. Yeah, exactly.
That's crazy, Gary.
And actually, when I saw your book, when it's coming out, I immediately started searching for an opportunity to buy this book because is it your first book, if I recall correctly?
It's sort of.
Sort of, yeah.
I've been a contributor to many books
Exactly.
in the past, but this is the first one where Tim and I are the main authors, and
Yeah. And I was overexcited to learn that you have this book and it's going to be published. And specifically at the moment when I will have an opportunity to meet you in person and have this conversation, I was like this. Yeah.
Yes, excellent. I'm happy to be here. Thanks for having me.
Cool. Thank you for being with me. Yeah. So Futureproof, right? About AI, about business analysis. And I've read this book from the very beginning to the very end, and I liked it. It's amazing. Thank you for making this happen. And but let's try and tell people what this book is about.
Yeah, exactly. Because I think there's a lot of misinterpretations of what it is about, right?
Okay.
It's less about AI and more about how AI is changing business analysis. So it's not a technical book about AI.
Exactly.
It's really about how the technologies of AI are changing our world of business analysis. What that means to our skills, what it means to how we approach our work, what it means in the context of the history of our work and how we've gotten to where we are and why we're going where we need to go as AI takes a bigger and bigger presence in our lives.
Right. I actually loved how you put some of business analysis history on the book. It was, I wasn't expecting it in this specific book, but I loved it how you explain the concepts, how you explain where the business analysis grows from. Yeah, and it's actually a great way to input those bits into the conversation about AI.
Oh, good. Yeah, it's important context, right? Especially depending, where you're coming from. Are you a very young BA or a seasoned BA?
Right.
Those different personas are going to interpret and take different understandings from that, and that was important to us.
Exactly. So in your book, you discuss the current state of business analysis and the future state of business analysis, and you show examples of good business analysis and how you say subpar bad examples of business analysis. And you show how AI might affect the business analysis to be in a good way. So maybe without revealing too much from your book, you may show us a couple of examples. What are you talking about in the book?
Yeah, so currently there's a lot of business analysis happening that is not that great in organizations. A lack of training and skills for BAs, and there's just a lot of we're getting by, but I mean, there's so much more opportunity for us to do better business analysis and get better results. And with AI, that's going to be amplified. So, for example, if your organization is already very low on a BA maturity level and the skills and business analysis happening is not at a great level, AI is going to amplify that.
True.
And if it's doing really well, AI is going to amplify that. So some examples would be like if your organization is writing very technical requirements with a lot of technical details or task level details for the team, that's going to be a really, really big hindrance to business analysis and then what business analysts can do in the organization with AI. Now, AI can assist with requirements work.
True.
Right? But if you don't currently do really good requirements work, AI is going to potentially make it worse.
Exactly.
If you're doing good business analysis, AI can make it even better. So that's where we go in and we have these tables in the book that kind of describe good, bad, ugly analysis and subpar business analysis. And then what happens when we use AI and it's good or bad. And then what does it look like even down the road when AI is really enabling things and how bad can it get and how good can it get?
True. Thank you for showing the concept and maybe have a specific example to talk about. Maybe not from the book, but another one or one from the book.
So like I was giving an example of technical specs, right? And how that is just going to be magnified as a poor practice. Same could go with visual models. Same could go for the scenarios you're building with requirements, right? The more skills we have, the better those get, right?
True.
Like AI is going to build really bad requirements with really poor prompting from an unskilled, untrained BA. it could be bad.
Exactly.
Right? But
Exactly.
really good BAs are going to be better at providing the context inside of a prompt and are going to be better at working with technical teams to build embedded AI experiences just because of the analysis skills and techniques that they have.
Right.
So that
Right.
can be amplified more.
That's probably the prompt engineering is considered to be the top one skill for business analysts who are working with generative AI right now.
You right now, and our book isn't about prompt engineering as much.
Exactly.
It's mentioned, of course, but it's about the inputs to prompt engineering a BA needs is good BA skills, right? A really good, well-trained, skilled BA is going to naturally prompt better and going to have the right inputs to a prompt compared to an unskilled BA.
I think that is what you're talking about in the book, right? So you're talking about this new framework that you created. I hope I'm not butchering the name. The Business Analysis AI Accelerator Framework. Is it correct?
Without the business analysis, I think it's Analysis AI Accelerator.
Analysis, yeah.
Yeah.
And you provide this framework which shows how the mindset of business analysts should change, right? So could you, without revealing too much, of course, because
Let's reveal it.
Oh, okay, let's review it.
Well,
so,
I mean, the framework has 6 concepts, right? And it's a thinking framework, a mindset framework, like you mentioned.
okay,
It's not a methodology or a method or a process,
true,
right? It's
true.
very, very simple. And Tim and I have some ideas about some white papers later to go into more details.
Okay,
But it's quite simple in that we talk about reusable, durable assets, hypotheses and experiments,
right,
business results, user behaviors, and then the tasks and deliverables. So the concept is to connect them all, connecting our strategy to the work we do, and each of those elements in between helps us connect it. So it's really a framework that helps BAs and teams think about connecting strategy to details. And that's just as simple as the 6 concepts get. And there's a lot of, obviously a lot of information in the book about it and ways to think about it,
right,
how to
right.
frame it up and just change your mindset. And our hope is that BAs and leaders read it to change their mindset
Exactly.
on how requirements information and analysis bridges that strategy to deliverable piece.
Exactly. And what I love about the book is how smartly all those concepts are ingrained in every page. Not just provide
colors.
Yes, yes. Oh, I love it. It not just provides the reader with the context and how all things are working together in every chapter, but how it's also visually distinguished from all the content. It's very cool.
We should tell the audience that, right? So in the book, whenever those 6 terms in the framework are used, we have color coded them in a bold color font,
right,
to help connect the concepts throughout the entire book. And get that thinking and mindset really embedded in.
Exactly. And first I was reading the book and I was trying to understand why is
that word yellow?
Yeah, why is it yellow? And only then when you provide this framework, it becomes all the clear, all the dots were connected right away.
Oh, good. That's great to hear. It was really interesting during the editing process, deciding exactly when to color code it and when not.
Yeah.
And then there were times where like, no, but then we had to change the word because it's like, wait, should we be able to search the words and have it always? But then if we were using it in a context that wasn't connected to the framework, it's just a funny experience editing and putting it in there.
I think so. Yeah. A lot of places where it's highlighted. So I think you've put really a lot of work into the specifics where to highlight this. Yeah, that's true. And as I understood from the book, the whole book is about changing mindset of business analysts from working with requirements to working on a strategic level, to working with value streams. Is that what you were trying to achieve with this book?
Yeah, absolutely. Because Tim and I see AI as taking care of a lot of the current grunt work and detailed work BAs do. So what's left? Strategic business analysis.
Right.
Really, truly connecting strategy to user behaviors to the work in the AI. And that connection is often lost today in our work.
Okay.
And it just can't be lost in the future, or organizations are going to suffer a lot.
Yeah, that's true. And I feel like business analysts are too focused on low-level requirements all the time. It's because they're so detail-oriented, and even business analysts working in high-level instances, like in business architecture, they also focus on low-level details. It's just in our nature. And I hope that the book will be changing the mindsets of business analysts in all perspectives.
Completely. And that's the goal, right? We see the business analyst role surviving and thriving when BAs step up into this higher level. And it requires more skill then too. And to get out of that detail and realize, well, AI can and will do a lot of that detail for us and for the development team, for the testing team, team for that process.
Right.
And so when all of that's automated and done, we still have to find ways, processes, and methods to align the strategy and the users and the goals and those higher level things.
Right.
I'm not saying it's all strategy that BAs do. It's in a strategy horizon, but there's also details. They just happen to be a different type of details than a lot of BAs are currently doing. So instead of a technical detail, it's going to be more about a user scenario.
Right.
But currently, like maybe the user scenario is at the top of what a BA does, and they work down to technical detail. Okay. Imagine the user scenario now at the bottom. You're still at the user scenario level, which some would consider strategy, some not. How I see it is, if you have 100 user scenarios about logging in, the strategy part is aligning which 100 to do in which order.
True.
Yep. To align to a strategy. Mm-hmm. We don't do enough of that work today to bridge the user and the user goals and measurements to the strategy. So I don't want to mislead folks into thinking, oh, it's just all about strategy. No, it's our bridge to strategy that is so pivotal in what we do.
That's true, because the models we create, the requirements we do, they are our deliverables at the moment from many business analysts, but they shouldn't be the deliverables, right? They should be tools and things we do, and the value should be the deliverable we do, right?
So those are the assets in the framework.
Exactly.
And we're calling in the book for continuous analysis using continuous assets. Now, and this does bring a knowledge management challenge, right? I've been talking to a lot of folks about that lately. A knowledge management challenge of, well, organizations don't keep this knowledge updated today. How is that going to change?
True. Yeah.
Well, generative AI can help with that too, right? And we're also talking in the book about how it's going to become imperative that we have durable continuous assets, and those that do just will create so much more value with AI than those that don't.
Exactly. Yeah. Thank you for sharing that.
Yeah.
The new framework, right? The new thing for business analysts from YouTube, which changes the mindset. Do you think there will be challenges for BAs or businesses BAs working to introduce this new framework, to apply, to embrace it? And maybe how much time would it take to work on this framework to make it happen in their organizations?
So I don't see it as a formal framework that requires an implementation, actually. I see it as a natural thinking process to employ, but every organization is going to find their own way to navigate that. So we didn't create it as a method to follow. We didn't create it as a process.
Okay.
We create it as concepts to think about. So, for example, hypotheses and experiments. If you are not weaving hypotheses and experiments into your value to delivery process, it's a huge risk. But we need BAs to understand hypotheses and experiments and think about them.
Right.
We're not telling folks how to do that, how to put it into any of your processes, but conceptually, it's a framework of, hey, BAs, you have to understand this. So we're not trying to take away any other framework any company's using. It's something to accompany it. And more of a, hey, BAs, in an AI world, here is how you think about your work. So what techniques you use doesn't matter, right? What order you do things in. I mean, there's examples in the book kind of showing some ways of doing it, but really it's up to each organization how they use those concepts. What's most important is the mindset and the values and the concepts get used.
Well, I agree with you. Yeah, it shouldn't replace any framework. Probably it's a mindset again, right?
Yes.
At the same time, when I was reading the book and when I saw the very specific place, you remember this vertical explanation of the framework where the assets and the hypothesis experience they lie in the foundation, not the pyramid, but the another one.
Mm-hmm.
I instantly thought about the balanced scorecard,
Oh,
right?
well, see, that's the thing is like everything in the framework has another name in other methodologies, right? That's where we're not trying to recreate or replace. We want people to read it and go, oh, that's kind of like that. Well, scorecard would be like an asset,
Mm-hmm.
but there's a million other assets. There's business architecture assets. There's
Yeah,
business analysis assets, and right. So lots of things can be assets. So
true.
so we're just trying to help BAs. I always think of BAs as an integrator of methods and processes and methodologies,
Oh, that's a good point.
right?
Right.
And so what we're saying here is these are the 6 concepts to help you integrate business analysis into every other method and framework you're using, and fit your techniques into these concepts, fit your work tasks in. What you're doing should just logically and conceptually be part of it. Does that make sense?
Yes, yes, it makes absolute sense. What I was saying about is that as it's reminding me of another tool I know about, I thought that maybe business analysts who read this book, they will be having their minds changed, right? So it's my mindset setting book, and they will try to apply it as a new tool. And I feel like there's gonna be a misunderstanding between the business and business analysts. It's not a blocker for sure, but it's gonna create some friction. As new innovation, and this is about innovation, right?
Yeah.
Something new is probably going to create a bit of a friction between people. So I thought of that possible challenge,
Yeah.
but not necessarily.
It's interesting because I really do think some people are going to read the framework and automatically, I hope, they tie the words they use to it. It
Okay.
may or may not be the words or terms that are currently used in their organization, and that's okay. Right? We're not trying to redo it. We're just trying to explain the concept. So, for example, business results. That might be strategy to some, OKRs to others, A3 balanced scorecard, right? So, however your organization names those things, that's fine,
That's true. Yeah.
right?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So we don't see it as a framework to be implemented, trained on, and put in place over a duration. We see it as a way for BAs to understand how their work connects to everything else.
Yeah. And that's the most important part, probably to understand this foundation and maybe change your foundation a little bit, because how we do things today is very different from how we should do things now in the future.
Right.
And probably just one more thing that I wanted to know and share with the people is okay, so we are in the era of generative AI, right? So we do things as we do, we do business analysis as we do. And maybe based on your book, or maybe based on your extensive knowledge in AI and business analysis, how they integrate, what would be your advice or maybe suggestion or idea for business analysis? One thing that you would share and would love it to make like the content for business analysts.
Well, I mean, the first thing I'd say is generative AI is only one part of AI, and so much of AI is changing. So it's not just generative AI, but there's a lot of data analytics and other capabilities, and then how these capabilities together are coming together to create newer capabilities when combined. So it's like generative AI with data analytics, or with biometrics, or with machine learning that's creating the change. And I would say, I don't think BAs need to understand it technically, but they need to understand it conceptually.
True.
Right? And so, yeah, your skills are going to have to level up.
Right.
Like more problem solving at a higher level, more facilitation and decision making, realizing how many more decisions we're going to have to facilitate, and really making sure we're facilitating the right decision at the right time, at the right level of detail, with the right person. But that's going to be just something to think about. Like, what skills do I need to enable AI? Wait, that means decision making has to happen faster by my stakeholders. And that decision making, the speed and velocity and the pace of it is going to be so big.
Right. Yeah.
And a lot of times today, BAs struggle with getting decisions made. So that to me is like, okay, so if we're struggling getting decisions made today, there's a lot of work we can do to amp up the skills because it's going to get a lot more challenging and we have to work through it.
Exactly.
Facilitating getting the right data, the right visuals, the right conversations happening, that's hard work.
Exactly.
And AI can't do that for us.
Oh, no. No.
So when you think about what can't AI do, facilitate the decision-making process. And we will have
Right.
exponentially more decisions being thrown at us that our business teams are not ready to make. So then it's our job to figure out, okay, what order are we going to make these decisions in? Which are the right decisions to be made? What's the right information to help these decisions get made, the process to make the decision, and get that done?
Right.
It's a little deep, right?
Yeah, it's quite deep, and it's very relevant today to change our skills, to elevate our skills, to switch from modeling requirements, from just doing these things manually, but facilitating it with AI and switching to decision making, to consulting, all those sorts of things. And that's probably what's going to be future proofing the agility in business analysis and business context in general.
Exactly, right? Futureproof is about, are you ready to step up into this new world and facilitate your role as a BA? The role doesn't change, right? We still are bridging the gap between technology and business teams.
Exactly.
We're just not doing it with documents and writing things like we used to, right? We're doing it by finding new ways to bring the right information to the right people at the right time, the right level of detail.
That's true. That's true. And the future is now, and we need to.
It's now.
Yeah, we need to chase it. That's
I would say, yeah. I mean, even if people feel like it's not now yet, well, how long? It's going to take us a while to build these muscles. So that's the trick, is like, well, get ready now because it's going to come really, really fast. And none of us will be ready 100% no matter how hard we try.
Exactly.
Can we be ready 50%? Can we be ready some percent? Or
who knows?
Or nothing at all, and we're in real trouble.
Yeah, only experience will show. Well, thank you for sharing all this with me. And I hope this book will get to hands of as many business analysts as possible, because this is the innovational book about the change in mindset from what we have now to what we'll need to future-proof our
Yeah, I hope it makes a difference and folks enjoy it.
So that was an interview with Angela Wick, one of the authors of this great book. What do I think about it after the interview and after a couple of months of rereading it and chewing out and thinking about it? So I think that this is a great book, and I think that every business analyst should look into it and try to get inspiration on how they should change their job. I wouldn't recommend this book to completely new business analysts, because when you are new, you are focused on writing requirements, on requirements models, on providing that as a result of your job, which is completely typical and normal. But as soon as you've got your junior level, you got all the basics, you have like a year or a year and a half of experience, you should try and read this book. Because when you become middle in a couple of years, AI will be there, and it would be the fact that everybody will be using AI, as I think. That's my prediction. Hop in comments and say what do you think about it, but that's my prediction. But if you are already experienced business analyst, you are middle or above, and you have like 3, 4, 5 years of experience or even more, you should get this book and read through it and try to understand what's the concept and how to get from your current state when you focus on requirements to the future state when you focus on results and the value. And requirements just become your assets and they become your tools. If you already have this book, jump into comments and share your ideas. What do you think about the content of the book? What you learned from it? What ideas you got from it? But if you don't have the book yet, you can see the link to the Amazon to buy this book in pinned comment. This was the first of the book reviews that's going to appear on this channel. Right now, you probably see here the videos about techniques or something else from this channel, but in future you will get some other references to books I review, like previously written or something new that come out.